car there. Let's make sure you check that one out here. I believe our next race we'll have here on the National Racing Network for them will be June 6th, I believe. We should have live coverage of the last 2 races of the season for them. Tell you about the race cars here, built by Tatus. These are powered by a Mazda-designed 2-liter engine. Mazda no longer the entitlement sponsor and not badging the engines, but it is a Mazda product basically underneath the hood of these race cars. Making 275 horsepower through electronics provided by Cosworth and twin wishbone suspension all the way around. Getting that power to the asphalt, 2,750 millimeters, 500 kilograms. These cars are absolutely a ton of fun to drive, and on ovals are one of the best cars, at least in my opinion anyway, on the iRacing service. Here's all the information you need to know on strategy for tonight. Your fuel window is going to be anywhere from 30 to 50 laps. Tire change is going to take between 5.7 and 6.1 seconds. What that means is that it may be beneficial to take tires under the caution flag because tire wear is moderate and you don't have a backup car. So you're really going to have to baby the tires here as we see Connor Baldwin make his way out onto the racetrack for qualifications. As we mentioned, no backup cars, and you're going to lose at least 1 lap if you have to pit under green flag conditions. Looks like Baldwin going to take the reset there. Yeah, I think he got the penalty for an unsafe pit exit as we pick up Zach Evans. He's going to jump to second quick on the speed charts. Identical lap times at the top of the field. 19.06 seconds. 19.66 the lap time, for Zach Evans. Other cars on the racetrack include J. William Walker. He's going to come in 19.17. New quick time, Gary DeMoss to the top of the charts. 18.85 seconds. He's already down the backstretch, working lap number 2. Comes around second lap. Not quicker, but very, very close. Pick up James Watson as he's going to come around and finish his qualification run. New quick time, Jason Owens wrapping up his run in the number 87. Connor Baldwin, 18.87 seconds. Let's pick up Kevin Smalley here as he works lap number 2. 18.95 was the time first lap around the race course. Just about at the halfway point in qualifications. Smalley finishes his run. Let's pick up Ben Carswell as he makes his way down the front stretch and into turn number 1. James Curtis goes quick in sector 1. What's he going to do in sector 2? Slower on the second half of the racetrack. Carswell's first lap time, 19.28 seconds. Going to slot him in 19th on the grid. Carswell coming around to complete his run. He improves up to the 16th position. Let's grab the number 28 Alpine colors of Timothy Watson. Mike Barry looks like he's going to be the last car to take a qualification attempt here. Through 3 and 4 for Timothy Watson. He's going to jump to the 13th position with that first lap. 18.99 seconds. Lap number 2 going to finish at 18.99. Let's pick up Mike Barry as he's going to be the last car to complete a qualification run here tonight at USA International. The old Jordan livery on that car. Pretty cool paint scheme on that one. Loops it through turns 3 and 4, and unfortunately that's going to absolutely screw up his qualification run. He's already taken the time on lap number 1. Next time he passes the start-finish line will be the checkered flag, so he won't get up to speed, and that will round out qualifications here for the TNT PM-18 All-Oval Series. Show you the results from qualifying as cars are going to start to head to the grid. Jason Owens, your quick timer by half a tenth over James Curtis, Simon Fell, Wes Shire, Gary DeMoss. Complete the top 5 in qualifying. Here is your starting grid for tonight's 50-minute feature event. Jason Owens and James Curtis will make up row number 1. Simon Fell and Wes Shire in row number 2. Gary DeMoss, Connor Baldwin in row 3. Row 4 will have James Watson and Robert Drew. Corey Cleary and Kevin Smalley on row number 5. Daniel Smith and J. William Walker in the 6th row. Timothy Watson, Jimmy Ojanen in row number 7. Zach Evans and Mackenzie Galida in row number 8. Row 9 will have Ben Carswell and Rick Cleary. Mike Gosler, Robert Gamble in row number 10. Row 11 will have Cullen Johnston and Jake Querreri. Mike Barry will be all alone in the 12th and final row. Field going to start to make their way around on the pace laps here. We'll see if it's going to be 1 lap or 2 here under pacing, but give you a look at the in-car cameras we have here. There's Jason Owens, Zach Evans as well. Both of those guys deep in concentration. Patrick Byrne already checking into the comments, one of our regular color guys. By the way, Patrick, jump in the booth if you want here, bud. Connor gets the big smooth move of the race for that. I don't know that that's big smooth worthy. I want to remind everybody, if you're watching on Facebook, you can shoot some stars our way. We greatly appreciate the support. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, we got other ways you can show your support of the National Racing Network. Head on over to patron.nationalracingnetwork.com. You can join the NRN Discord server and get all the cool stuff that goes on with that. But we're ready to go racing here at USA International. 50 minutes the distance. Off a turn 4. Green flags in the air. We're underway. Owens going to lead the field into turn number 1, but James Curtis looking high to the outside. One car spinning down to the inside. We'll see. Yep, that will bring out a caution flag. Little bit overexcited, I guess we could say here. Trouble back in the pack. It wasn't Gary DeMoss. Oh, I guess it was. Yeah, the 34, Gary DeMoss. Just a little bit heavy on the throttle, loops it down the back straightaway. A couple other cars getting caught up in the issue here. Let's see if we can see what happened here to Timothy Watson. Keep your eye on that Alpine machine down to the inside. Oh, big contact into the inside wall, trying to avoid the slow car down the backstretch. James Curtis scored as the race leader. Here he is, asking ye shall receive. Patrick Byrne going to join us here in the commentary booth tonight. What's going on, Patrick?
What's up? Disappointed I had to miss this one, but excited to watch it here with you tonight.
Yeah, Patrick, normally one of the drivers in the TNT PM-18 All-Oval Series presented by Carolina Simworks. I'll tell you what, seeing that first incident here, and I'll get our feed of the race up here for you as well, Patrick, but it is so easy to just get a little bit too aggressive with the throttle and basically overcook it on cold tires.
Oh, absolutely. This track is very, very tricky to drive. The cars are so tight packed together, and it'll just snap on you out of nowhere, and hopefully you don't take out a bunch of cars when you do it.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that you kind of have to worry about here. And you're already getting some love in the comments here. P. Bizzle in the booth from Ojama Lemon on Twitch. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. So we'll see. We'll try to get a word next caution flag here with Jason Owens or Zach Evans, one of our drivers that we have the cameras on anyway. Field making their way off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Tell you what, little bit of a surprise here. Name that we don't normally see at the front is Connor Baldwin. He's currently running in the 3rd position. Kid's got a ton of talent. It's just the series is so deep that sometimes you can get lost mid-pack and only be a 10th back.
Oh, absolutely. And Connor is a phenomenal driver in this series. He's very underrated. He usually sits back, but when he has talent at a track, he'll definitely be up there and showing it.
Coming off at turn number 2, James Watson looking to the inside of Robert Drew as they head down the back straightaway into turn number 3. I would imagine here, Patrick, one of the big things is this race is 50 minutes long. There is a lot of time left to go here. Settle in and get some laps turned.
Oh yeah, this track, you just want to kind of find your rhythm. You know other people are going to take themselves out. It's such a difficult track that we're going to have another couple cautions here, so you just want to make sure you're not in.
Yeah, that's basically it. Just make sure you're not the guy that screws things up here. This battle between Watson and Drew continues here. Drew just clipping that infield apron. Oh, and he's going to just about lose it. What a save. Robert Drew. Big wreck, turn 2.
Oh, and the wreck behind him.
Huge wreck down the back straightaway. That was Mike Barry and Rick Cleary. Into the hot shoe race for instant replay on this one. There's Barry in that Jordan F1 livery, dives it down to the inside. Oh, just a little bit of a push, little bit of contact with Cleary, and that's all she wrote.
That's so easy to do here in these open wheel cars. You just tap that apron and the car just wants to shoot high, and all the guy above you can do is sit there and pray.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the big ones here. Let's bring Mike Barry into the booth with us here. Mike, what happened down there in turn number 1?
Yeah, I just got tight. I mean, it's not much I can say. I'm really sorry to Rick about that. I don't know. I came in here with like almost zero practice, which is probably a mistake.
Yeah, we got to see you. You got wadded up, not of your own doing, there in the sprint car feature, and unfortunately, it seems like this one a little bit more of your doing, but still the same outcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, bad luck's kind of following me tonight. So we're going to look ahead next week. I think we're in Concord for the sprint car, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I don't know where we are in this series, but, hopefully it's a track that benefits me.
All right, Mike. Well, tough break for you. Hopefully we're talking to you under some better circumstances next week. Pick up our race leader, James Curtis, here at the 6-minute mark. We've already turned 11 laps. Now, I got to pull up the notes that Jason Owens sent to us here, because one of the things was that an all-out fuel run is 59 to 64 laps, depending on what the fuel burn is. However, the way everything's going to shake out here, you're basically looking at this is going to be a two-stop race. It's going to take either a ton of caution or absolutely epic levels of fuel saving to try to make this a one-stop race.
Oh, yeah. I don't even think they could do it under caution, because still under caution here, they're running faster than a minute a lap. So if the race were to go caution flag to flag, you'd still need to make one pit stop, and that's not what happens in the series. We do have good long green flag runs, so they're going to need to make a second stop.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we'll let's see if we can get Jason Owens in here as we circulate under the caution flag. And Jason, we'll bring you into the booth with us here to ask the question, what are your thoughts now on fuel strategy as we go here? Because this is not going to be the two-stopper is kind of guaranteed, but could somebody make it on one if we stay caution-filled like this? Oh, it looks like Jason doesn't have his mic on here, so we can't.
Hey, Chris, sorry.
There we go.
I don't know if you can see you probably can't see my throttle, but I'm out here in sixth, saving every drop I can right now. So yes, maybe. Who knows?
All right, well, we'll let you go back to racing here and concentrate on the important stuff as we get ready to go back to green. But yeah, Jason's talking about how they're in full fuel save mode and how this really could potentially turn into a one-stop. We'll have to see how it plays out here, but off at turn number 4, we're going to see the green flag. Oh, Curtis brings the field down very, very slowly. Connor Baldwin with a little bit of a network issue here. He's going to pop back in, still in the 3rd position, but see in the front of the field, single file out. In fact, everybody's going to be about 2/10 apart here on the restart. Patrick, this kind of goes to what you were talking about of get the long green flag run in and it really makes sure you get a bunch of laps logged here.
Absolutely. This is a really, really difficult track to pass at, so you're mostly going to see single file racing here, people sitting one behind each other until the opportunity presents itself. This isn't a track where you can make your own opportunity. You have to be presented it.
Back under the caution flag here. Trouble for J. William Walker. Let's take a look. See what happened to that black and white machine into turn number 1. Oh, caught up into somebody really quick and just absolutely stuffed it into the inside retaining wall. That car is pretty well junked.
That just looks like he had his brake bias set a little too far back. When you set a car up for this track, Personally, I tend to like my brake bias set way back. I like to trail the brake into the turns. I'd imagine a lot of these drivers are doing that as well, just to get that car to turn on the entry. So if it's way too far back there, you have to jump on the brakes to avoid a slow car. It'll just send you right around into the inside wall.
Yeah, that's where it's not a matter of knowing the car. It's just getting the feel for it. And a lot of times that's not something you're going to practice. You kind of just have to anticipate it and be ready for it when it happens.
Yeah, this is one of those cars that once you get good at saving it, if you're a bad enough driver like me, it is a kind of easy car to save, but you do have to be ready to really jump on that wheel and counter steer, but just a little bit. If you overdo it, you'll be sent into the outside wall instead of the inside wall. It's just a very precision-driven car.
There's Corey Cleary entering into the pits. He was the car that slowed up down the front, or down off of turn number 2, that caught out Walker. He's going to come in. The air jacks go up on this one. The guys that in the series that know this car in the real world are going to love hearing that. No air jacks in the real world, but we've got them in iRacing. The SpaceX number 4 of Corey Cleary makes his way back out onto the racetrack. He'll restart in the 16th position. Other drivers that have made pit stops here include Cullen Johnston, Corey Cleary, Gary DeMoss obviously having his issue, but he's back out on the track, going to be 1 lap down to the race leaders. Pick up Cullen Johnston here as he makes his way back into the pit area as well. Down and away, looks like everybody making the fuel stops here, trying to get these cars as topped off as you could possibly get them, because we're still circulating under caution. Lights are on the pace car. We could be heading for a fuel save run here for some of these cars.
Oh yeah, I know Wes is definitely thinking about it really, really hard, to where he's doing all the math in his head. He'll figure out exactly how much fuel he needs to save, and he's a car I'm sure will run out of fuel right after he crosses the checkered flag.
That's what he did. He did that last season at the Iowa Speedway. There's several drivers here that really kind of take fuel saving to an extreme here. James Watson is very good at it. Kevin Smalley is very good at it. One of the difficult things here is that these cars don't have the fuel maps like the Indy cars do, so this is entirely with your right foot and your ability to bump start the car if you choose to shut it off here. Pace car is in, no shutting it off now. James Curtis with a huge run into turn number 1. He'll be your race leader. Second, third, fourth, all going to be nose to tail as they come off the corner. There's Wes Shire running in the 4th position. I would imagine, Patrick, that's kind of part of the deal here is not only do you have to be good at fuel saving, but you also have to be in contention at least a little bit to try to make that strategy work. Because at this point, it's not that huge of a gamble. We're already almost 14 minutes in here.
Oh yeah, the cool thing about this track is with how much you have to slow down for the turns, lift and coast, just like they do in Formula One, is an absolutely perfect strategy.
Oh, big wreck down the back straightaway for Connor Baldwin. Just as Dad Forrest sends the comment saying, "Go Connor and eat more beef."
Oh, you jinxed him.
He absolutely jinxed his own kid. Let's take a look here and see what happened to Connor Baldwin off of turn number 2. Having a little bit of a network issue anyway, but it's actually coming up a lap from now. We're going to go back to green flag, or to live coverage here, because most of the race leaders, or at least some of them anyway, coming down pit road. James Curtis, Wes Shire, Simon Fell, Ben Carswell, Mike Gosler, Connor Baldwin, all in the pit area. Not the worst outcome here for Connor Baldwin. Take a look and see if we can see his car here. That car looks like it's missing the front wing and not much else. So shouldn't be too much time in repairs. The race off of pit road going to belong to James Curtis in the 88. 4.32 seconds, so no tires on that stop. Wes Shire down and away in 7.07. 4.75 for Simon Fell. Connor Baldwin over 30 seconds in pit stop time here, so obviously at least a fair bit anyway of damage repair on that car. Seeing James Curtis slowing down in a pretty big way here.
I wonder if he was caught entering the pits too fast, or maybe got off the pit limiter a little too early, or jumped that yellow line exiting the pits. Any which of those will give you an end-of-line penalty coming back to green.
See if we can get a word with him here. James Curtis, what happened there? We see you falling to the tail end of the field.
Came out of the pits wrong, just took a black flag. That was dumb. Not
yes,
paying attention.
I was going to say, well, and this is an easy place to get caught out by that with how narrow that pit lane exit is. So tough break there, but the car's been fast all night here. You think you got a shot to get back to the front?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a tough track to pass on. I'm going to have to really work at it, but I think that early pit stop's going to let me get an advantage of some of these guys that didn't pit, so we'll see what happens. I'm just going to have to drive smart, but drive hard.
All right, there you go. That's James Curtis. And talking about driving smart, driving hard. We're going to now have basically two separate races going on at once here, and we'll see how they play out as we get to the end here. Top 8 cars have not pitted yet. Jason Owens, James Watson, Kevin Smalley, Robert Drew, Zach Evans, Jake Querreri, Robert Gamble, Mackenzie Galida. Corey Cleary runs in the 9th position. He stopped on lap number 18. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the end of the race, but it could be close. Wes Shire stopping on here on lap number 25, but basically it's at that kind of 17-minute or so window. That we may be where we see the window open up for these drivers. Simon Fell, Ben Carswell, Mike Gosler, Jimmy Ogenin, James Curtis, Cullen Johnston, all making stops there on lap number 25. So it'll be interesting to see kind of who goes where, and are they going to be able to make it to the finish? Getting ready to
be surprised if we see another caution here, just because we have a lot of fast drivers in the back, and with how hard it is to pass here, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And starting to see some of that already here. Jason Owens got out to a good restart. Top 6-8 cars all going to stay single file. Let's slide back in the pack here. Pick up Mackenzie Galida, that all-white number 5 machine to the inside. Caution flag on the racetrack once again. Trouble for Ben Carswell, looks like. See what happened here to Ben Carswell in the 48. Got caught up right towards the back of the field. He spins it around. Oh, and Connor Baldwin. Whoa, what a save by James Curtis. Holy cow.
He looks like he got away from it scot-free.
Let's go on board here. Pick up the roll bar, Cam. Let's take a look here from the onboard of James Curtis.
That was beautifully executed. He spun the car but did not hit anything. He's going to retain his track position, retain his nice, perfect, fresh car, and he's going to have another shot to try and push back to the front.
Yeah, let's
what
take
an expert driver.
Keep your eye on that number 88 Surge machine. Spins it to the inside. I don't know how he missed Carswell. Oh my goodness. What a piece of driving by James Curtis.
And Curtis already back up to 13th position after that end-the-line penalty for leaving the pits the wrong way.
Yeah, not only is he up to 13th position here, but just about everybody behind him is laps down. So as the attrition starts to play a role here, we're going to see the long green flag run develop, and this is really where this could play out into Curtis's hands, because if you were going to be tight on fuel, you need some caution help. What really will set it off is if the race leaders have to pit under green.
Oh yeah, if we go green all the way to the checkered flag and those leaders have to pit on the green, James Curtis does not, he now has a lap on the entire field, which would be beautiful for him and get him the race win, which is most important.
Let's also not forget the other drivers on this strategy here. West Shire in the number 16. Homestead Coffee Roasters. Tales from Rukon on the side of that machine. Simon Fell also on the lap 25 strategy, as is Mike Gosler in the number 24. Just behind, by the way, fantastic Atlas Van Lines scheme there. Well done, Mike. Cullen Johnston also stopping. He came in at lap 27. So it's more than just James Curtis that's on the strategy. There's Curtis running in the 13th position. Mackenzie Galida making a little bit of a smart play here, I think. Also Jimmy Ojinen stopping at lap 32, and there's Ojinen tagging in at the back of the field. He stopped on lap number 34. Some of these drivers now are, I would say, potentially in really good shape to make it the rest of the way.
Oh yeah, I'd look for one of those guys, especially as we get to the close of the race and see where they're ending up. These guys at the front, they're going to need to pit here soon, and I don't know if they'll be able to stay at the front, especially being cycled back to the rear and working their way back up to the front.
That was going to be my question, was if you're Jason Owens, James Watson, Kevin Smalley, at this point you're almost to halfway. Why wouldn't you stop? Unless you think you can't make it. You have to get past 25 minutes. But these guys are definitely in danger of the big undercut coming back to bite them here. Let's head back in the pack here. Pick up Jimmy Ojinen and Mackenzie Galida. Those cars going to battle off of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. Just ahead in the field here, Zach Evans going to have Jake Querreri only about a car length back from his rear wing as they come off at 2.
The interesting thing about these cars is you'll know when a car is that far back from you. You don't even have to look in your mirrors. It will actually take the air off of your rear wing, and you'll start to get a little bit loose in the corners, which is another really weird thing about this track, is that just makes the problem of snapping out oversteer that much worse.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Jason talked about with his pre-race, was worrying about the tires here, and maybe that's the thought process, is get to halfway, do the 4 tires stop, because you're going to fill the car with fuel anyway. You're going to have fresher rubber than everybody else as we get down towards the end of this race.
Oh yeah, those guys in the other strategy, those tires are going to be burnt up when we get to the end of this race. And if guys like Jason Owens or James Watson do take 4 tires, they might be able to come back from that loss of the undercut and just blow by those other cars.
What was a 2-car battle now is 4. Is Kevin Smalley, Robert Drew, Zach Evans, Jake Querreri, all going to be nose to tail here. Is Jason Owens starting to check out, setting fast lap after fast lap. He just set the quickest lap of the race, 18.69 seconds. Taking a look at that 311 machine of Jake Querreri. Car's been pretty quick here, but he's trying to get around Zach Evans, just not quite close enough to make it work. Looking a little bit further back here, James Curtis coming around Simon Fell off of turn number 4. Going to move him up to the 9th position, so that 88 machine's still quick, even fighting the dirty air in traffic. as we hit the halfway point.
Just say, I don't know if that 88 had pace to beat Jason Owens, but he is on the better strategy right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if he comes home with a trophy tonight.
Working 25, almost 26 minutes. Haven't done one of these yet tonight in either series. Let's give you folks at home a chance to crank it up. Well, maybe not. Caution flags going to fly. Trouble on the racetrack for Connor Baldwin.
I believe 3 cautions he's been in, and that qualifying effort. I think we should just give him the big smooth move of the race right now.
You know what? The self-spin off of turn number 4, that's worthy of it. Connor Baldwin, congratulations. You are tonight's big smooth move of the race recipient. Get absolutely nothing for it. So we go back to live coverage here. Zach Evans, Robert Gamble making their way down pit road, as is Jimmy Ojanen. So we're still seeing the strategy games play out here a little bit. We'll see. The car goes up. Now we just got to wait and see what the time is on the pit stop. 7.48 seconds for Zach Evans. So he did take tires there, as did Robert Gamble. Now, Patrick, we talk about how good fresh tires are going to be and how the tires wear here at the Speedway, but at the same token, you're now coming out with ice-cold tires on the race car. You really got to baby it those first couple of laps.
Oh, absolutely. The last time we were at this track last season, it was very, very difficult to drive on cold tires, and that's why we saw a caution-filled race. Tonight hasn't been so bad, but it is still difficult to drive on those fresh tires, so if they can just settle in, find a rhythm, get those tires up temperature, you should see new fast lap set in the second half of this race.
Yeah, the longer the runs go on, the quicker the lap times get here. And part of that does come down to the weather. It's only 66 degrees ambient, 69 degrees track temp. It's a lot of work to get those tires up into their peak operating window. But coming back to the front of the field here, now the top 5 have not stopped. Jason Owens, James Watson, Kevin Smalley, Robert Drew, Jake Querreri. So we're going to make at least another lap here under the caution flag. So give you a look at these cars running at the front of the field. There's Jason Owens in the Extra Life Riley Children's Foundation number 87. That car been to victory lane every time we've run in the TNT series this season. Jason puts in about as much work as anybody into making these races as good as they could be. Team Watson Racing leader James Watson running in the second position. You see the NRN branding on the side of the car. We're proud to be the entitlement partner of Team Watson Racing. Running in the third position is Kevin Smalley. No surprise to see Smalley towards the front of the field here in that number 47 machine. Couple of wins last season. Always quick here in the PM18s. Running in fifth is Robert Drew. Molecule on the side of that number 91 entries. He circles back around behind the iRacing safety car. Jake Querreri running in the fifth position. That's the 311 machine, fifth car in line. You'll see everybody get up by the outside retaining wall. Passing on the outside is completely and totally legal before the start-finish line. Once you get to the start-finish, it's game on for everybody here as Owens checks out on the restart. Smalley going to hold within 2 car lengths as they get to 1.
James holding much tighter than Jason Owens this time around. It's almost like he found a little bit of speed in that car and he's going to try and use it here. Big
dive into turn number 1 for the 88 of James Curtis, trying to come around West Shire. He'll have the pass completed as they come off at turn number 4, but It basically takes you almost an entire lap to get the pass completed. And to your point here, Patrick, it's only about 0.6 of a second between Jason Owens and James Watson. Kevin Smalley holding on tight for third, and we got a Donnybrook brewing back here between Jake Querreri, James Curtis, and Wes Shire. Gary DeMoss in that fight as well, but he is a lap down. He gets up and out of the way.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can no longer get a lucky dog in this series. However, through the pit strategy, Gary might be able to get himself back to the lead lap and back in this fight. He does seem to still have a fast car, and hopefully he does it and gets himself a good finish tonight.
That's Robert Drew running the outside lane. Here comes the move by Curtis down the front straightaway. Oh, they were almost 3 wide into turn number 1. Contact!
Whoa.
Drew goes around up into the outside wall. There you see Robert Drew parked against the outside retaining wall. Let's get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Querreri looked to the inside. Man, I don't know that he ever got to him. I mean, we could give you the most obvious look here. Take a look from the right rear suspension. Actually, I guess it would be left rear we need to look from. Man, you didn't hear any contact. Let's try it here. See if you can see any contact. Man, I don't know.
It just seems like they may have had the slightest touch, and at this track, that is enough to upset the car and just send it into the outside retaining wall.
Back to the live look here. James Watson going to win the race over Jason Owens off of pit road. Wes Shire, Corey Cleary also stopping here on lap number 59. Well, maybe not. We'll see here. Looks like Watson going to fall back in line behind Owens. So now down to 2 cars that have not stopped yet.
Even so, you could see just the power of that undercut. Jason Owens leading that pack out of the pit road. He is now down the 10th position after leading the race. So it'd be fun to see if he can claw back those 10 spots and get up James Curtis, who now sits in the 3rd position.
Let's see if we can't get a word here with Jason Owens. Jason, we talked to you under the couple of cautions ago, I guess it was. What are your thoughts now here on the pit strategy as we go? Can Kevin Smalley and Jake Querreri actually make it without stopping?
If we keep up this caution rate, they can, and it'll be a brilliant strategy. It's got to go green for some run, right? So, like, I'm good on fuel from here, no matter what happens. So, we're going to go out there and see what it's got. I wish I was closer to James. He's up there. I think we were trading fast laps back and forth, but, man, it's going to be an awesome finish to this race.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it for sure. And we'll get you back here up to your own little quiet room up there. Jason Owens sits in his own room here in the Discord server that kind of lets him stay out of some of the shenanigans that go on. And basically the guys arguing back and forth here over the course of the run. 34, almost 35 minutes in. We're going to be down to 20 minutes to go. Kevin Smalley is not available for an interview, or at least I don't see him anywhere. I don't know that he would answer the question anyway, but you got to ask, there's no way these guys can make it without stopping, can they?
I don't think so. Even doing just some quick back-of-the-napkin math here, even if the race ran from the initial green to the checkered flag under caution, I still don't think they can make it. These 4 cylinders are fuel efficient, but they're not that fuel efficient.
Well, I guess we'll come to find out here, but now James Curtis, Mike Gosler, Matt Galida, Zach Evans, Robert Gamble, they've all stopped, and everybody should be good for fuel, except for the top 2. We go back to green flag racing. James Curtis
with a huge bump on the outside.
Yeah, that was a monster run into turn number 1. See if he completes the pass off of 2 here. Man, that 88 machine is fantastically quick. Easily comes around Jake Querreri.
This track is so hard to make a pass on the outside. It's almost impossible, yet he just made it look super, super easy here.
One of the things we had heard with regard to the car setup was potentially taking a little bit of wing out both the front and the rear and trying to open up that second lane just to roll more speed through the corner. So it'll be interesting to hear what James may have set up from an aerodynamic perspective, because he is all over the rear wing of Kevin Smalley as we work almost 37 minutes into the Florida Man 50 for the TNT PM-18 All-Oval Series presented by Carolina Simworks. Curtis dives inside of 3 and 4, just clips the apron. See if that slows him up at all. Smalley able to fight back on the outside, but it may not matter. Jake Querreri trying to come through and grab the second position. Not quite close enough to make that work, but new race leader once again at the front of the field, James Curtis. That 88 machine has completed the comeback, and that car is very, very good.
All 3 of these drivers are on the same tires they started this race with. I'm wondering if tire wear is not as huge of an issue as we thought it would be, or if they're going to start falling off really hard soon, and those guys that pitted most recently are going to come by and pass them.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting to think about, because in iRacing, the tires don't exactly cliff fall off like you'll hear in the F1 or even the red tires in the IndyCar series. It's more of a gradual thing, but I mean, I guess once you get them cooked, they're cooked.
Could we see a lap time comparison between James Curtis and Jason Owen, see what the difference in time is between those two?
We can't pull it up on the screen, but last lap time, 18.74 seconds for James Curtis. Jason Owens, 18.9. So, if anything, it's more about clean air is more important than having the fresh tires. Come back here, pick up this gaggle of race cars making their way through 1 and 2.
Say, Jason Owens seems like he's just trapped in a traffic jam trying to work his way through that traffic.
Yeah, same thing's true with James Watson, Simon Fell, Wes Shire. They're all caught out back there in lap traffic. In fact, they're turning lap times in the 19-second range, while the race leaders in the low 18s, or mid-18s, I should say. So they're losing a ton of time here, having to fight this traffic.
Jason has made contact with something. It did not look like he could make the move on Zach Evans on the low side. He's going to try here on the high side.
Gets the move completed. That's a very aggressive move. Continue to follow this group running side by side. Now that you're into the long green flag run, you kind of tend to think, one, when do we see the stops out of Kevin Smalley and Jake Querreri? But two, the tires are up to temp now, so that they really should start setting some fairly quick lap times.
Just under 10 minutes to go now in the race. Let's just see if Kevin Smalley or Jake Querreri have to pit now.
I mean, this feels like a pack race that we're watching right now with everybody from Zach Evans all the way back to Simon Fell, which is 6th through 13th position here.
Yeah, this is not something we saw last season. This car did get a pretty significant update for this season of racing, so it has opened up the high groove at so many more tracks. They took a bunch of downforce out of the car, so you're able to run a little bit faster.
Oh, contact!
But a lot slower in the crew.
Trouble on the racetrack for Cullen Johnston. We'll see if it brings out a caution flag. Yes, it does. Saw the contact back in the pack. Let's get you the Hot Shoe Race for instant replay. Keep your eye on that blue car about mid-pack. Slides just a little bit high and hard into the outside retaining wall. Real world, that hit hurts a bunch. No safer barriers here. Here's Jake Querreri looking like, yeah, he's going to have to come down pit road.
I'm surprised Kevin Smalley didn't come down. He hasn't taken a pit stop yet this race. I wonder if he's been shutting the car off under all these cautions to save just a little bit extra fuel than Jake Querreri did.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And now we're going to have a heck of a fight on our hands here as we pick up James Curtis, our race leader. Curtis stopped on lap number 25.
I was going to say, Jason Owens has already made his way up back to 4th position. I'm wondering if now that there's less traffic up ahead, if he can make the pass on James, get all the way up there just because he's on such fresher tires.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out here because Owens has the fresher rubber and he's going to restart in 4th. Not exactly like he's fighting that much dirty air. Matt Galida running in the 3rd position. Mackenzie's another guy, very quick, but we're not used to seeing him up here at the front. You almost have to wonder if that changes the approach of how Jason Owens is going to go on the attack here. And then we have that whole mess of race cars with Zach Evans, Robert Gamble, James Watson, Wes Shire, Simon Fell. Those guys were running side by side and, I mean, really eating up tires. So, really, we could be looking at a 3, maybe 4-car battle here if Kevin Smalley has enough fuel to make it to the end. Going to go at least one more lap under yellow. And, Patrick, this is really shaping up to be a pretty wild finish here because we're looking at, it'll be at least or right around the 45-minute mark before we go back to green. At this point, I guess if you're Kevin Smalley, you've made your bed. You're going to lay in it one way or the other at this point.
Yeah, he's got to fight to stay up there as much as possible. He is either going to run out of fuel or get a really great finish.
And the difference between running out of fuel and great finish, currently 12 positions. Smalley running in 2nd. He could fall as far as 12th and potentially even more here with a couple of cars only a lap or 2 down as well. Lights are out on the iRacing safety car. We're going to get ready to come back to green flag racing. James Curtis, Kevin Smalley, Matt Galida, Jason Owens, Zach Evans, your top 5. Curtis really staying up on the pace car. Smalley with a pretty big gap back here, and Curtis is going to pounce on that advantage. What a restart for James Curtis. He saw the gap that Kevin Smalley was going to leave him. Matt Galida slides high in turns 1 and 2. Lap traffic will come into play here as well. Owens looks to the inside and glided down the front straightaway. He'll get the pass completed. Now he's going to have to come past lap traffic and hope he's got enough time to get up there and play with the leaders.
Absolutely. He's on much fresher tires than both those leaders, so he should be catching them at a pretty quick rate, especially without all the dirty air. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a two-wide with all the two-wide racing we've seen so far in this race.
Yeah, we'll see here. I mean, we're down inside of 5 minutes to go here, and James Curtis starting to check out with this one. The lead right about 1 second over Kevin Smalley. Jason Owens runs third, but he's a full 2.5 seconds back of Curtis. We'll jump back in the pack here, pick up James Watson, trying to chase down Robert Gamble for the 4th position. He's going to have Wes Shire on his rear wing as well. There is your race leader, James Curtis, down to about 2 minutes and 20 seconds, 2 minutes and 40 seconds, I should say, left to go in this one here.
Jason Owens is definitely closing the gap on Kevin Smalley, but James Curtis is absolutely running away with this one.
Yeah, and at this point, even a caution flag wouldn't help Owens at all, because with the amount of time spent under caution, probably looking at this race finishing under yellow if the caution flag were to fly now. We're going to follow in here on Kevin Smalley to see if he's going to be able to make it to the finish. Inside of 2 minutes remaining here in the Florida Man 50 for the TNT PM-18 All-Oval Series presented by Carolina Simworks. And even if Owens is able to get there, you still got to get past Kevin Smalley, who that's not an easy task with the talent behind the wheel of that 47.
Oh yeah, I've tried to pass Kevin Smalley before, and even in damaged car when he's a lap down, he's like the Ryan Newman of this series. You just can't get by him.
We'll see if the strategy call plays out as brilliance or the thrill of victory, almost the agony of defeat. Now 1 minute remaining here at USA International. Wes Shire coming around James Watson for the 5th position. Should get the white flag, I would think, this time by, or at least potentially. Well, maybe not. I think we'll see one more lap before we get a white flag, but going to be tight. We'll see if this is the final lap here for James Curtis. Jason Owens all over the rear wing of Kevin Smalley. Smalley going to protect the inside lane. Owens dives to the inside. There is going to be white flag this time by for James Curtis. That's why Jason Owens was trying to pounce so hard there. He wasn't sure if we were going to be down to 1 to go, but off of turn number 4, checkered flag will fly this time, and James Curtis picks up the win over Kevin Smalley, Jason Owens, Westshire, Robert Gamble, your top 5. Kudos to James Curtis for a huge recovery. I mean, that was absolutely epic, the recovery drive that he made. Kevin Smalley.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, he was just on a flawless strategy. It was risky, but he made it work, and at the end of the race, absolutely checked out with it.
Wow, hearing Zach Evans lost internet with about 20 laps to go. So let's get your final race results here from USA International Speedways. We start to get everybody lined up here for the victory lane interviews. James Curtis with the win by 2.4 seconds over Kevin Smalley. Jason Owens completes the podium about 0.3 back of Smalley. Westshire, Robert Gamble, your top 5, 6 through 10, belongs to Simon Fell, James Watson, Corey Cleary, Jake Querreri, and Mackenzie Galida. Mike Gosler, Gary DeMoss, Zach Evans, Cullen Johnston, and Timothy Watson back through the 15th position. 16 through 20, Rick Cleary, Robert Drew, Jimmy Ogen, and Connor Baldwin, and Ben Carswell. J. William Walker, Mike Barry, Dan Smith will complete the field. Smith not even getting a full lap in under green flag conditions. A tough break for that guy. That may be the hard luck award of the night here, but let's see who we can get pulled in here for the victory lane interviews. Waiting to see. Let's grab our third place finisher here, Jason Owens. And Jason, it was a heck of a run for you here throughout the course of the night. Ultimately, it seemed like strategy kind of caught you out and bit you a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not upset with the finish. Like we're a quarter of the way through the championship now. It's too early to start thinking about points, but can't be upset with the points tonight.
Yeah, a couple of wins this season and then a podium.
I got lucky with a couple high side passes and forced the issue there coming through the field. But, man, I got to get up for James. He had a great set, great strategy. Kevin, I don't know how he pedaled that thing to a no-stop finish, but honored to be on the podium with those two guys. A great, great drive from both of them.
Yeah, this one was a fun one to watch. I mean, even with the caution flags, there were still storylines throughout the night. As always, the TNT Special Event Series, the TNT All-Oval PM-18 Series presented by Carolina Simworks puts on a fantastic show. So, congratulations on the podium tonight. Who do you want to thank?
Got to give it up for all the drivers in this series. Without them, we wouldn't have a show to put on. And then Riley Children's Hospital here in Indianapolis, and of course, Carolina Simworks, our title sponsor.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. We were just seeing on the replay here that potentially one to go move on Kevin Smalley. Did you think you were on the white flag lap, and that's kind of why you had to push the way you did?
I couldn't sleep well tonight if I didn't give it the old college try, but I also wasn't going to risk either one of our races. So I pushed him hard. It wasn't there, and I backed out.
All right, Jason. Well, congratulations on the podium finish tonight, and look forward to talking to you again next week.
Right on. Take it easy.
There's Jason Owens. Let's pick up our runner-up here, Mr. Kevin Smalley. And Kevin, it was a fantastic run for you tonight here. How in the world did you make one tank of fuel last 50 minutes?
Very carefully. Yeah, so, I mean, gosh, enough cautions were out there. I got the red light on the last lap. I had a half liter left, so I needed that last caution for sure. But it came, so I figured, hey, I mean, at that point, I'd gotten so used to the cautious driving, I didn't think I had the switch left to go get another 10th or 10th and a half that I'd need to go do it on pace. So I was like, well, I guess we're in this for good. Live or die, right?
I was going to say, at a certain point in the race, I would imagine you say, okay, I've committed to this strategy. It's either going to work or be really, really bad. What's that like mentally as a driver when you're committing yourself to a strategy that you know is going to be iffy at best?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I had at the rate we were doing cautions. I think let's see. I got the results up here. We had 8 cautions, and I was just it was. I think we had 15 minutes left, and my math said we needed one more caution. And it's like, well, we've had a caution. Seems like every few laps, and you got to bank on somebody getting aggressive at the end. So it seemed like a decent gamble to take, and turned out it was.
Well, fantastic run for you tonight. Another good podium for you, and congratulations on the top 2 finish here. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Jason for putting the league together and all the guys. It's always fun to race you, and thanks to you for broadcasting. Always appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Hope so.
There you go. There's Kevin Smalley, but now we got to get the man of the hour here into victory lane. James Curtis, we talked to you earlier in the race about the issue you had taking the penalty off of pit road. How insane was it driving through the field here on what a lot of guys have so far described as a one-groove racetrack?
Man, it was pretty crazy, especially whenever car spun out in front of me. I think it was Ben. Crapped myself a little bit there, but was able to get out without any damage. But the rest of the run was pretty good. I had a really fast car, so I was able to get the edge whenever I was making passes, was able to move up enough. And fuel strategy really paid off today.
Yeah, we replayed that incident several times from your onboards because that was one of the best saves I have ever seen in the iRacing platform. And it seems like we're saying that a lot over the last week or so with the talent of the drivers. But mentally, are you just prepped for, okay, my race is done, and you go, ooh, I got through it?
Well, I was in recovery drive mode, so I thought, well, I'm probably not going to win now, but I can get a top 5 probably. I got a good car. Most of the cars hadn't pitted yet, so I might be able to get past some of these guys. But I wasn't expecting a win.
Well, it was a heck of a drive. Impressive is really the only way to say it. So congratulations on the big win tonight here, dethroning Jason Owens for the first time this season. That one's got to feel pretty good. And who would you like to thank?
Oh, man. Big shout out to Craig Setup Shop. I used them as a baseline this week. Tweaked it a bit, but man, they make a good product. Really, they kind of got my setup straight this week. It was fantastic.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the win tonight here, and looking forward to talking to you again next week.
Thanks, Chris. Good talking to you.
So there you go. There's race winner James Curtis, and we'll see. Hopefully, we still have Patrick Byrne here in the booth. But Patrick, that race was really, really interesting from front to back here because we were seeing drivers fight like the dickens for position throughout the field. They were playing different strategy games. I mean, it really is everything you could ask for in a Formula car race.
Oh, for sure. I after seeing it, I'm disappointed I didn't start this one because just a 2-wide racing, something I've never seen at this track in my 6 years of iRacing, and the fuel strategies that were at play. It was just an absolute insane race that ended up turning out to be one of the best of the season so far.
Yeah, this one was a ton of fun, and have the race results for you up on the screen here. And it was really pretty interesting how the drivers were all talking about how difficult it was running. It was a one-groove racetrack, but we saw 2 and 3, almost 3-wide racing throughout the night.
Oh, for sure. This track, I'm really excited to run it. Obviously, the official series is running it this week. I might run the Thursday night race, and hopefully it puts on a good show because I've never seen anything like that here.
Yeah, that one was a ton of fun for sure. So with that, we'll wrap up our coverage here from USA International Speedway. This one has been a blast tonight here, and looking forward to tomorrow night as well. The Echo Blade Road to Indy Shootout, I guess you would call it. At the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we're going to have 5 divisions, the entire road to Indy, basically, on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the same time. If that race is going to get you very, very juiced up for what's coming at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend in the real world as well. So looking forward to that. We'll also have Bert Wojcik and Adam Rubright doing the High Side Hustle with us tomorrow evening. Thursday night, we have the Ezra IndyCar Series back for round 3, I believe, this season. And then we're also going to have the Indy Pro 2000 official series for iRacing running round number 10. But with that, we'll wrap up our coverage here for tonight from USA International Speedway. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name's Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. Have a great night, everybody.